Okay, Donald Trump is rallying his supporters in Pennsylvania right now, and he seems to really be leaning into his violent rhetoric in the home stretch of this campaign. Listen to what he just said in Pennsylvania just moments ago.
I have a piece of glass over here, and I don't have a piece of glass there. And I have this piece of glass here. But all we have really over here is the fake news, right? And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much.
Joining me now is House Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. It's great to see you, Speaker Pelosi, 2 days before the election. And there's so much I want to talk to you about: health care, abortion rights, everything at stake here. I do want to start with those comments because, I mean, your family knows better than just about any family in America the very real consequences of Trump's violent rhetoric. And I just want to get your reaction to what he just said at this rally, what we just played for the audience.
Good morning. Wonderful to be with you again on this weekend before the election. I think that what the ex-president just said is a further indication of his cognitive degeneration. You saw recently when he was talking about whether he chose electrocution or being eaten by sharks. Something's very wrong there. And indicative in it also is diminishing the power of the press, which is the guardian of our freedom in our country. So I think people who might thinking about voting for him have to know that he can't last as president for 4 years with his brain deteriorating at the rate that it is, and is clearly evident. And they may be voting for President Vance, which would be a horrible thing for our country. You're right. Our family has experienced the violence. Where is Nancy? Where is Nancy? Coming into our house, violating the sanctity of our home, the safety of my husband, looking for me, echoing what was said on January 6th in the Capitol. Where is Nancy? Where is Nancy? Was coming up to punish me for what I had said about Donald Trump.
And I raise it because I think there's a fear people have out there. And we saw some violent language. This wasn't an anomaly. As you and everybody knows out there who's watching, he had some violent language when he was discussing Liz Cheney this week. He suggested he would not be such a war hawk if she had guns trained on her face. His campaign doubled down on that language. He seems to be, I raise this because he seems to know what he's doing. And we've seen this before. Do you think he knows that he's potentially inciting violence against her, violence against you, violence against others who he raises and threatens publicly?
Well, it does have a chilling effect on people who may want to run for office to think that they would be endangering themselves or, more importantly, their families. But I will say this, because the Liz Cheney, you think that that would be something that would be so dispositive of people's votes. But there's some people whose only vote by the fact that they're very wealthy and they don't want to pay taxes, and their corporations don't want any protections. And that's really sad that their patriotism, they pledge allegiance to their tax return and not to our country and our Constitution and our future. And I will say this because what you said earlier about a woman's right to choose and all of the things that is implied in that in terms of safety and the rest for women. This is violence against women. He may not know that, but when he says things like, I want to protect women whether they like it or not, that is violence against women. Would you want your son to say that to anyone? Would you want your daughter to be told that? Would you want your husband to say that to you? Whether you like it or not, violence against women. Violence against women's safety by taking away women, disrespecting women in a life-threatening way in terms of their reproductive health. So women have a lot to lose in this election, but they, and more importantly, have a lot to gain by the election of Kamala Harris. And let's talk about her instead of him when we talk about women.
Let's talk about her. And what's so exciting,